Hi everyone, I'm Carol Ortenberg, the editor of NOSH. I am at Expo East in Philadelphia, and joining me right now is Max Dichter, the CEO of Fourth and Heart. Max, thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, thanks, Carol. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I know you joined the company in 2018. You took over the CEO role in 2020. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we haven't gotten to sit down and chat in a while. What's new with Fourth and Heart? I know a lot of things have changed in the past 2 years.
There have been a lot of things that have changed in the past 2 years. Starting in 2020, we had a lot of really tough decisions to make in the business. A year prior to that, we had really tried to take the business in a multitude of directions across different innovation to sort of hedge against the headwinds that we were seeing in the category, the ghee category overall. But when we got into 2020 with the macro environment the way that it was and the uncertainty of everything going on, cash was king, and we had to make some tough decisions in the business. So we went through a pretty big SKU rationalization exercise where we unfortunately had to pare back a lot of the innovation that we had launched the year prior to really focus on the core business. We spent a lot of our time trimming down the P&L, really getting a lot of the unproductive spend out of the system, really focusing on profitability to accompany growth in the system. Really, again, focusing on the core SKUs that really built the brand the years prior. And then kind of rolling into 2021, we made some really key hires in our organization, bringing in a new head of ops, Scott Moore, who came to us from 34 Degrees, and a new head of sales, Matt Chu, who came to us from Manitoba Harvest. And that combined with our continued focus on the core, focus on trade spend management, margins, we were able to get our burn down significantly, down 66% from the year prior, actually 75% from the year prior, and ended up the year with 6 months of profitability, the highest margins in the history of the company, and the #1 positioning in the category for ghee.
Wow, that's some impressive changes indeed. It sounds like there was a lot on your plate. How did you kind of figure out what to prioritize when? Because I think that's something that a lot of brands sometimes struggle with.
That's a great question. I would just say that prioritization comes with really tough decisions. At the end of the day, cash is really important to these businesses. Working capital is really hard to manage, and so what we prioritized was profitability, and so anything that sort of strayed away from leading us to a more profitable state was generally lower on the priority list, and therefore either if a SKU, it was nixed, or if it was an investment, it was possibly postponed.
Talking about products and sort of SKU mix, I know over the past 2 years, as you kind of alluded to, you had some product renovation and SKU rationalization. How did you kind of figure out where to focus and what points were going to resonate with consumers, especially during a pandemic when I think it was really sometimes hard to get that consumer feedback?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say there's no secret sauce here. Honestly, we just focused on the products that we knew best. We focused on ghee. That's what we do best. That's what built the brand. That's what built the company. Of the SKUs that we discontinued, we did leave one behind that we felt we could renovate because there was so much more potential for it, and that's our ghee spray. Our ghee spray is now our third best-selling product in Whole Foods. It's actually what we got into Costco this year in the Northwest region, launched in July, and it's actually launching in the Southeast region here in November. But the product, the spray product, is just such a good innovation. It's a really good entry point into the category for consumers that are still learning about ghee. And we had to go through that renovation process, as you mentioned, which is actually a really fun topic to discuss if there's time. But basically, we improved the functionality of it. It's probably the only pure functioning ghee spray on the market, which also has proprietary components built into it to make it so.
I think the idea of that spray being accessible is really interesting because some of the products you discontinued, like your bars, the thought was, like many other brands have tried, let's put ghee into something that people already eat, and that's the point of accessibility and how they'll get used to ghee. Why did it turn out it wasn't ghee as an ingredient, but kind of the form factor that it was put in that was the secret sauce?
Yeah, well, I think what we learned was that you have to have the credibility and the brand recognition to step into a big competitive category like the protein bar set, and we just weren't there yet, candidly. Even today, I don't think we're there to step into that category, but What we can do is play in a category that's adjacent to the one that we currently play in, and that's the refrigerated butter set. So we have some new innovation that we're launching today at the show that we think is going to be a game-changing innovation for that set, which is a $5 billion category comprised of a $500 million subcategory, which we call the premium butter, pasture-raised butter set, and that's actually growing at a 15% CAGR and up 50% in market share over the last 3.5 years. So we feel pretty bullish about our entry into that part of the category because there's a very clear movement in the refrigerated butter set toward better butter. And Fourth and Heart ghee is even better butter because it's richer, healthier, and more functional than traditional butter.
Well, Max, thanks so much for catching me up to speed on what's been going on at Fourth and Heart. I'm excited for this new innovation and how it helps Fourth and Heart stick around even longer.
Thank you. We hope to be sticking around quite long.